disconnected. Channel switched. Mic check, mic check. I want to welcome everybody to Red Dog Racing, RDL TV, guys. Racers are right now going into qualifying. It's a 5-minute, 2-lap qualifying session here. So once we get done with the qualifying, we'll go ahead and announce the top 10 qualifiers in the race. I want to let everybody know this is a 65-lap race here. Winner will get $10. So we should see some hard, exciting racing coming on tonight. I want to welcome you guys again to Red Dog Racing. Check us out at www.reddogairlines.com. You can watch our live broadcast also at www.twitch.tv/RDLTV. Again, that's www.twitch.tv/RDLTV. Sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, guys, and welcome to Red Dog Racing, Elite Racing Experience. All right, race fans, want to say a big, huge congratulations to Mr. Brian Viola for running the 50.207. Rounding out our top 10 here, we got Brian Viola coming in at 50.207, taking the pole. Chris Jesse at number 2. We got R.A. Adi at number 3. John Houston at number 4. Brian Valls at number 5. Mr. Vincent Copeland at number 6. James Barber coming in at number 7. Our very own Red Dog, Benjamin Fuller, coming in at number 8. Matt Cook at number 9. And rounding out the top 10 is Doug Caddick. Should have some interest in racing tonight, guys. This is a 65-lap race. Winner will be getting $10 here, so we should see some interesting battles coming up here up front. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. Talledage is a super speedway, one of the fastest super speedways on the NASCAR circuit here. Racers are known to get in tandems here up to about 205, 209 miles per hour. So we should see some real hard, fast racing here. You get left out alone, typically you're going to be left alone. So, guys, you're going to see guys pairing up real early here on the start, trying to, find a partner and get in there and run hard. The real interesting to see how these strong leaders, especially the top 10, how they pull out. I'm really curious to know if, they can maintain that lead and maintain the pack. The guys in the back have a little bit of a harder time. They just have to work their way through traffic, kind of pace themselves and see where they can get. Fuel is going to be an issue, I believe, in this race also. People pit strategy really determines what's going to happen for a lot of guys. So we should see some very interesting pit strategies going on here. Guys, I'm Roosevelt Simmons. I'm running solo here tonight in the booth. So, we're going to be sitting back having some fun watching these guys race. This is the first RDL TV Talledage broadcast tonight, so I hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have fun. And here we go now. They are on their pace lap, getting ready to take off here. You're going to see them kind of get in 2 by 2, on the back stretch here as they come around and kind of line it up. Pace car is going to be determining factor for these guys. Once the pace car comes off, these guys are going to be kind of, hovering over the gas pedal to hit green. Well, before they go to green, they hit that gas. The first few laps is really where you really see, who can handle it and where things stretch out. That front pack is going to try to break away as fast as they can, I believe, and then everybody else is going to settle in. Optimum line for a lot of these races is that bottom line, the yellow line. They get in there early. They just kind of hold it down and try to settle in. Guys up top are the ones that typically try to, bounce off that wall and stay off that wall and hopefully not go 3 by 3 as they get to this race early on. Brian Viola looks like he's got a pretty fast car up there, running that nice qualifying lap. So we'll see how his car holds up for him, in this race here. It's going to be curious to see who partners up with Brian and, kind of maybe push him to the front, get him out in front, and get a good run. Heat is going to be an issue. It's curious, the way things are set up here in our races, just with their new update, changed their tape model where these guys can adjust their tape in 10% increments. So I'm curious to know who has tape on their car and who doesn't. I think we'll be able to see as cars start pulling out from the front, kind of noticing who has tape on their car. Pace car is in, and they're tightening it up right now. We're about to start here, guys, at Talladega Friday night here with Red Dog Racing, Elite Racing Experience. Here we go. And we got green flag racing, and they're pulling off right now. We got Brian Viola sitting there neck and neck here as he pulls up in front. The front 2 cars are pulling up right now, so we're going to see what's happening in his very first turn as these guys get down in. And we got that first 5 in there rounded out right now. They're lined up one by one down to that bottom line as they come through, turn on the backstretch now. We see them lining up, and they are looking pretty good right now as they stretch it out. And here we go around the first stretch here, coming down the start finish line. We're going to see who takes it first here as we come in. Coming in those top two there, we got Mr. Chris Jesse, who's right now leading the pack. Coming in right behind him is Brian Viola. So those two guys paired up early, and they are pulling away from the pack. They're really pulling away from them. As we see a pack of three coming up right behind him here now. So we knew early on that these guys were going to kind of pair up with them, with, find their teammates and get in with each other and get into a groove. So looks like Mr. Brian and Chris have kind of found themselves a good tandem, and they're going to work it out. Coming in right behind them, though, is Ray Addy and Matt Cook. They're pushing out behind them. Once they got the draft, so they're just pushing up, coming real close. John Houston and James Barber right behind those two guys, and they're slowly closing up too. So you see that gap kind of close up as they get ready to come out of turn 3, headed on that backstretch there. Or I'm sorry, turn 2 headed on that backstretch. It'll be real interesting to see how the rest of the field on the backstretch is out. What's happening there? One of the bigger questions is going to be how soon or how long can Brian and Chris stay in that configuration at the end before they got to switch. The switch is going to be interesting here. Once they get hot, they're going to have to switch. Yeah, I expect to see them go high and switch high, and then from that switch, we're going to see Ray and those guys coming from behind. And there we go with the switch right now. We see him going high. And we see him getting low, and here we go now. There they go. They suck him right up to that switch, and we're gonna see him pass here. No, they maintain the lead right now as we go along, coming on the backstretch. They maintain that lead. That was an outstanding switch for those two guys as they went up top and stayed up high. Matt Cook, Ray Eddy couldn't make that pass, but they definitely closed the gap, and we see more guys closing up on them right now as they come on that backstretch. Coming into the trial over here. And we still have Chris Jesse and Brian Viola, 1 and 2 leaving it out. Brian Viola now is in front, Chris Jesse right behind him. We got Michael Norris now who comes up in 3. We got Brandon Chibicro coming up in 4. And Ray Eddy has dropped back to 5th place. Now Matt Cook is in 6th. John Houston is in 7th. We got Brandon Odo coming up in 8th. Vincent Copeland in 9th. James Barber in 10th. Brett Caddick in 11th. Benjamin Fuller has dropped back to 11th place. 12th place. Robert Caddick in 13th. And Brandon S. Long in 14th. Aaron Hutchinson, actually filling in for Aaron Hutchinson tonight, is Mr. Anthony Wobble Wobble Yates is back there in 15th. 16th is Terrence Apodaca. 17th, we got Kevin Parsons. 18th, we got Dennis Tyler. Looks like we got us to spin here. Mr. Anthony Wobble Wobble Yates has lost his car here and got to the wall there and got a little spin. He's off, and yellow didn't come out. It's like we still got some racing going on here. Looking at the replay, looks like Aaron just got a little bit loose down as he come in, and his partner that was pushing him just kind of got inside of him and pushed him a little bit too hard and pushed him to the wall. So that's unfortunate for Anthony Yates here. The number 40 car just kind of goes out of it and tears himself up. Looks like our leaders here going into a switch as they get ready to come on the backstretch here now. Looks like they are really pushing hard here. Looks good. Coming into the trial, but now we got Brian Viola, Chris Jesse. Oh, we got a 4-car tandem here coming up front here. Like it's going to be a battle to the turn one here. It looks like they're able to hold it at the bottom. And it looks like number 29, Chris Jesse, remains our leader coming out of that turn now, that battle. That front pack looks like they're getting a little bit squirrely up there. They look like they're about to line up again right now, though. So you'll notice that as these cars stay in line, whether they stay in line high or stay in line low, that they're able to pull away. That front pack there of 7 cars really has pulled away from the rest of the pack, which makes them a little bit more safer, as they get along in this race. But it'd be interesting to see again, as they are bumper to bumper racing, especially the leader, and they have to switch. The cars behind them are going to kind of pull forward, and suck into them. So it's going to be real squirrely there. They have to really be careful on that switch. The cars behind them have to be careful and pay attention to that switch, not to run into the back of them. And there Chris Jesse and Brian Viola go for the switch right now, and let's again watch as that back pack kind of just pulls up to them as they make that switch. Chris and Brian are just going to kind of hope that they have enough space in between those cars behind them to continue to pull forward. So we're seeing a really good battle here up front, with these top 7 cars. It's going to be real interesting to see if they can maintain this or if they're going to partner up and pair up. You got one odd man out, but again, that's the intricacies of this race here. That one odd man out can very well pick the car and not become the odd man out and jump his way to the front. So it'll be interesting to see. Kind of checking in on Mr. Anthony Wobble Yates here. Looks like he's managed to get his car back on the track. It's coming back in, and I don't know how much damage he's managed to repair. It looks like he's managed to do it pretty good much as he's up to about 189 miles per hour. But he's running solo back there, so he has a lot of work to do to catch up. Checking in on the number 10 position with Robert Caddick. Robert Caddick and his partner, Doug Caddick, like we got brothers in there. They just kind of paired up with each other, just kind of settle into a race. That's a lot of times a good strategy for these races, kind of sit back, ease into the race, let the guys up front, do the bumping and grinding and battle, and just kind of work their way up. This is a long race, but again, we're racing 65 laps, and they're definitely going to have to make a pit stop. So these guys, if they pit on the green, it's definitely going to be important for these guys to have a good pit strategy. If they pit under caution, then it's going to be interesting to see who stays out, who goes in, and what kind of fuel, pit, and tire strategy that these guys will have. Checking in on number 36, Benjamin Fuller, back here in 18th position. Right, he's settled into a group back here and just kind of running hard. They're going to find a groove, find a way to just kind of settle in and move forward. That pack right there is kind of spread thin, so you're not going to catch a lot of speed as they move to the front. But you look at Ben and his partner, they kind of settle in. They are pulling away from that pack. So as we coming across here, lap number 14, we're looking at Chris Jesse and Brian Viola just kind of dominate the field right now as they continue to pull away. Get ready to pass the lap car. In number 3, we got John Houston. Number 4, we got Brandon Chubico. Coming in 5th, we got Matt Cook, and right behind him is John Higman. Number 7, we got Michael Norris. Number 8, we got John Higman Jr. Coming in at number 9, we got Brandon Odo. And number 10, we got Brandon S. Long. And number 11, we got Doug Caddick. 12, we got Robert Caddick. So the Caddick brothers are just kind of slowly working their way up there. At number 13, we got car number 7, James Barber. Coming in at number 14, car number 38, Christian Kendall. And he's partnered up with number 45, Chad Cole. Behind them, we got car number 36, Benjamin Fuller, who's partnered up with car number 31, Robert Mansfield. Car number 35, Jay Brown. And car number 88, Dennis Taylor, around the line. One of the great things about our racing is that, friends, family, can get together and race and actually do some pretty hard racing here. We look at the number 3 car, Robert Caddick. Him and his brother, looks like they've been working this and doing this for a while here. As they settle, Robert and Doug settle in the 11th and 12th place. They've got a pretty good technique going here where they, make switches up high and get back into the groove and just kind of keep on pushing. So that tandem of 4 cars back there, I think we're going to see those guys continue to run and continue to do good. If I'm a betting man, I'm thinking that, Robert and Doug are going to, have a little trick up their sleeve later on in this race and maybe make a move and kind of push up to the front. Getting back into that front pack, number 29, Chris Jesse is still hanging in front, really pushing hard here. And his partner, number 49, Brian Viola, those guys are really working hard up front, that front pack there. So the front 6 cars are pulling away. We got a lone one back there by himself. Interesting to see if he can, jump back in that groove there. We see the number 27 car, Doug Caddick, along with his brother, number 3 car, Robert Caddick, again, continue to slowly work their way to the front of this race here. So, they got some space, they got some room, they can settle in a little bit. I think these guys are going to just kind of push up front and work their way to the forward. A lot of people think that racing on these big open, super speedways is easy. The reality of it is that racing on these super speedways is where you see a majority of your big crashes. Your car typically set up to have very, very low drag, very low downforce to get maximum speed. What that does with the car is it makes the car extremely loose. And to top that off, these guys are going bumper to bumper, literally touching each other, bumping each other as they go into these corners. Your back end of the car can get real quick, and you're driving 200 miles an hour, and you get loose just a little bit, you can't control it. You can see some massive carnage on these tracks, cars, especially as they pile up. You look at this group that we have right here. These guys are really running hard. One mistake, one tiny mistake, and you're going to have all of them taken out. So it's really important that the drivers focus on what they're doing, concentrate, and really just keep their cars as steady as possible. And it looks like we have ourselves a new leader as Matt Cook kind of pushes his way up to first place. Coming in right behind him is number 15, Ray Addy. So, like I said, you're going to see some lead changes here coming on. You see him early as we're only in lap 22 of this race, of a 65-lap race. So we're going to start seeing, I think here in the next 5-10 laps, we're going to start seeing some pitting going on here. We have some good green flag racing going on. I think we're going to see some pitting coming up real soon. Brandon Chibico is pushing up right behind him, along with his partner John Houston. Looks like they're going to kind of, try to make a run and get here to the front for the first place here. Chris Jesse and Brian Viola have dropped back to respectively to 5th and 6th place. Just kind of settle in, I think, get a groove here. That front pack really doesn't have anything to worry about. Just kind of, work together. Really, they're racing each other, but they're actually working together too, because they don't want that back pack to catch up to them to get that thick crowd of cars. So that front 6, I think you're going to really see kind of work together, stay together. They'll do some jostling back and forth to, take first and second place or things like that. But I think you're going to relatively see those guys stay in front. They have such a big lead on the rest of the field that they don't want to do anything to mess themselves up and cause a crash to wipe everybody out. Then the guys in the back just kind of come up and catch them. So I think we're going to see some good racing here, and you see these guys just kind of settle into it and run hard. As we go back here and we catch up with number 40, Aaron Hutchinson. Aaron Hutchinson's car driven by Mr. Anthony Wobble Yates. Looks like he still hasn't managed to find anybody to partner up with. However, working his way, being patient, he's worked himself up to the 23rd position again, coming out of that horrific crash that he had. He's back on the track. Still a long race. I think we're going to see him just kind of continue to work himself in there and move forward. So, Anthony Yates is a well-known, well-respected Red Dog racer, and he is known to pull some things out of his hat. So I'm really, going to keep my eye focused on him and kind of watch what he does throughout the course of this race. If he can work his way back up in front, take advantage of maybe a timely caution, and get up to the front and make it a race for himself. Checking in on our other Red Dog racer here, number 36, Ben Fuller. He's sitting back there at number 16 spot, and he's working with a partner of his, number 31, Robert Mansfield. Again, they're kind of stretched out, they're spread out real wide. Distance between each car and the spread really doesn't matter. I think you're going to see, cars start pitting. You can see positions kind of start moving forward. So, be curious to see what happens with these two as they push in. And we are starting to see some cars hit the pit here. As we see, Ryan Viola and Chris Jesse, both of those guys, going into the pits. You know, number 29 and number 49, taking an early pit stop here. That's a smart move, I think. You know, we're going to see these guys going to pit. They're going to take some tires. They're going to take some fuel. Everybody else on the rest of the field, because we've had some really good green flag racing, are going to have to come in and pit. So let's see if this strategy works out for these two. We definitely know that they're partnered up. They're communicating with each other because they both pitted at the same time. And here they come out of the pits right now. Perfect time pit strategy. Perfect time pit stop. These guys are going to come back onto the field. They have a tandem. They're going to work together and see what happens here as they come through. And right now we are at lap 27, and our leader, Matt Cook, coming in right behind him is Brandon Chavicro. Number 3 is John Hughes. Number 4, Vincent Copeland. Number 5, Brandon Odo. Number 6, James Barber. Number 7, Brandon Long. Number 8, Doug Caddick. Michael Norris coming in at number 9, and Robert Caddick rounds out the top 10. Right behind those guys, we got Chad Cole at 11, Christian Kendall at 12. Ben Fuller at 13, Robert Mansfield at 14, Jay Brown at number 15, and coming at number 16 is John Gordon. That takes our lead lap, guys. And we're starting to see a lot of cars coming to the pits right now, as we see number 9, Vincent Copeland, coming to the pit. Number 13, Doug Caddick in the pit, along with his brother, Robert Caddick, number 14. Number 3 is in the pit. So we're starting to see these guys coming to the pits right now. So as we thought, you know, lap 28, lap 29, lap 30, midway, we see these guys pit. So pit strategy is going to be important here, that these guys take tires and fuel and get back out on the track. Robert Caddick and Doug Caddick both come out together. So the Caddick brothers are definitely working, definitely communicate as they come out. And respective 13 and 14 position for the Caddick brothers as they get ready to come out of the pits here and get up to speed. They're on the backstretch and now coming out. We see number 41, Vincent Copeland, get ready to drop down and come into the pits. Coming out of the pits right now. But again, he's coming out of the pits by himself, so he got some work to do to catch up. Number 15, Ray Addy, is in the pits. Looks like he doesn't have a partner in that pit stall by himself, so he's going to be, you know, coming out. Looks like he's coming out by himself also. So again, this is the key thing about pitting, you know, on a green flag race here at Talladega. If you pit by yourself, you're going to lose a lot of positions, a lot of space. These guys that partner up early and stick with each other, they pit together, they come out together, they're able to get back to the top speed, get back into the draft, and kind of maintain their position or make up positions. Where we see Mr. Addy coming out at position number 19, you know, we already see cars that are going to pass him by. You know, he's going to have some work to do to kind of catch up, you know, find a partner that doesn't have to pit for gas and work his way back to the front. So it could be really interesting to see what happens there. We check in with number 36, Ben Fuller here, as he's working his way up to position number 9. And he's still chugging along and pushing pretty hard here. You know, he's right behind Vincent Copeland. As we have ourselves a new race leader, Mr. Brandon S. Long. Don't really see him partnered up and paired up with anybody up front. Although James Barber and Michael Norris coming right behind him. Curious to see what's going to take place with these guys here. James Barber is closing up on him, and I don't know if James is pitted or not, so we'll see what's going to happen. They're not working together up front, so this might be just a thing of these guys haven't pitted yet. They've taken the lead. They're going to take a couple of laps and get some lead laps in, but let's see what happens as we see James Barber kind of drop below the yellow a little bit. But they looks like they're staying out. They're still up to full speed, so nope, we got number 7. Looks like he's dropping down to the pits here. Indeed he is. Number 7 dropping down to the pits, and number 6, Brandon is long. Both of them are pitting at the same time. So do these two guys have a pit strategy here? They're going to work together. They definitely have an opportunity to get to the pits, get some fuel, come out, possibly stay in. But we see that Brandon Long kind of got into the pits and went past his pit stall, so that's going to kill him on time. Really going to kill him on time. So, I think his partner that he went in with is going to end up pulling out of the pit. Well after him. Number 6, Brandon Long, is still in the pits. I don't know if there's a problem with him in the pits or if he has car issues, but he just went a lap down. We are joined in the booth tonight by Mr. Aaron Hutchinson himself coming in and going to kind of sit down with us and help us out. Aaron, welcome to the broadcast. We are joined again, sorry about that, a little bit of technical difficulty, by Mr. Aaron Hutchins here, owner of the number 40 car. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you tonight, Roosevelt?
Well, looks like we got ourselves a caution that just came out. Guys, this is the first caution of the night for this race. These guys have raced 36 laps without a caution. That's actually pretty outstanding. We're going to try to find out what happened with this race here, but this is actually an opportune time for those guys that haven't pitted. They can come in, get fuel. They can get some tires, get back on the track here, and try to finish this thing off. Aaron, I tell you, it's been a really, interesting race here. Pit strategy, partnership has really been key for this race. What have you seen so far with these guys and how they're racing?
So far, it looks like it's all been real clean racing, other than a couple of mishaps. I hate like heck to see the 40 car get caught up in one of them, but she's back out to running pretty strong.
Yeah, Anthony is, he's working his way up. He had that big horrendous crash, went to the pits. He went down a few laps. I think he's actually 4 laps down right now, but he's actually worked his way back to 19th position. So Aaron is a strong racer. What do you think is going to happen with him after this caution?
Well, I'm hoping he can stay out to get some, at least one of his laps back and go from there, but I'm not sure if he'll get the wave around or not, but we'll hope and see.
As we try to go back and look and see what happened here, I just saw on my screen that we saw the number 36 kind of hit the wall up there and just drop right down into the apron and just kind of smash and slide his way into the pit lane. So look, I can't really tell if he got to somebody got to him, or if he actually, Yep, looking at it, it looks like he got loose as he's coming down into the tri-oval. He just kind of slid up, and the car got loose and we got to that top wall and lost it. So that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it sure is. Hopefully, you can get that thing fixed back up and get back out there. I know that if you don't get those bumpers hooked up just right, I mean, you can definitely hook yourself if your setup is on the loose side.
You know, I talked about that earlier, Aaron. I talked about setup for this track, you know, how there's not really a lot of downforce because you want to get maximum speed. You being, pretty keen on this track and being a really good racer, what's some of the things that you see that racers do on this track to try to, balance out grip and speed?
That's a tough one. I know. My biggest thing is that I always do is make sure that I'm good pushing. If I'm good pushing, then being out front, being pushed, you should be okay. Biggest thing is you want that car stable but yet fast, and sometimes that's definitely a fine line to run.
When you talk about pushing, and we looked at a few of it today, a few races tonight as they pair up. We look at the Caddick brothers, how they work together, and you can tell that those guys have been racing together and working together a lot. What makes a good pusher? I know from experience that when you're down there and you're behind a car and you're pushing, you can't see anything. So what's some of the techniques that you can offer these racers when they get into pushing?
The best way to push is have somebody that can hold a good line that you trust more often than not. I mean, most of these guys have run with each other more often than not before, maybe in previous sessions or in regular official iRacing sessions. So for me, it's definitely a matter of trusting somebody and working with them. I try to work with somebody enough in practice, different people, to kind of know who to work with and who to stay away from.
I hear you on that. I know it's really good, especially if you got people that you race with consistently in the same race that you work. You typically see on these big races and a race like tonight where it's really an open hosted session where you got a lot of people come in and don't know each other. You have to kind of spend a few laps and get to know that guy's driving technique. He likes the inside, outside, top line, low line, things like that. So I think we see a lot of that tonight.
You bet, because everybody enters the corner at a different, spot. Corner exit for people is a lot different. So that's one thing that you definitely have to learn when you're behind somebody, giving them a push. But the main thing is to keep up behind them, just as close as you possibly can. You don't want to hit somebody, going in the corner, in the middle of the corner, but you can get on that rear bumper and just basically attach yourself there before you get the corner. You can ride them all the way around the corner like that, as long as you don't get, as long as you can hold your line behind them, you guys will be fast.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that we see a lot of these guys, especially the guys that are up front, they know how to hold that car when it gets into a turn. They don't break off of the bumper into a turn. They kind of stay up to it, ride them, adjust their steering wheel and come in and out. But they maintain their speeds. You've been noted to go at about 209 miles per hour on the high line on this track. What do you think is attributed to that amount of speed?
To be honest, the trick to doing something really, really fast is for the two guys to be working together that A, know each other, and B, running pretty much the exact same setup.
Aaron, I'll tell you that's a tough thing to do, my friend. But we'll be looking forward to seeing you on the track again here this Sunday, actually, at Pocono. Pocono is going to be is one of those difficult tracks where you get top speed, you got to break it down, get to a turn, and get right back up to speed again. You think it's this track here helps you drive at Pocono at all, or it has no relation whatsoever?
It really doesn't have a lot of relation because of the fact that you've got the three turns that you definitely have to get on the brakes for. Turn 2, the tunnel turn, you really don't have to get on them real hard, but definitely turn 1 and 3, you got to definitely check up for it good and get slowed down. I mean, Pocono is a pretty slippery track in itself. It did help it with this new build a little bit with the new tire model, but it's still definitely a tough goal.
Well, Aaron, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to getting to there. Looks like we're about to go green here again. Pace cars settle in. We got cars getting up 2 by 2. You know, our current, positioning as we get into this lap 40, yellow, is John Houston is at the number 1 spot. James Barber at number 2. Brandon Otto at number 3. Matt Cook coming in at number 4. Christian Kendall at number 5. And Mike Norris at number 6. Robert Manfield number 7. We have Chris Jesse at number 8. Brian Viola at number 9. Brandon Chibirko at number 10. Kevin Parsons at number 11. Robert Caddick and Doug Caddick round out the 12 and 13 spot. Vincent Copeland comes in at 14. Gord Groom at number 15. And our very own Red Dog Benjamin Fuller at number 16. We have number 17, the Right Eddie, and round out number 18, Aaron Hutchinson again. He's working his way up. He's at number 18 there. Brandon S. Long at number 19, Dennis Taylor at number 20, Chad Cole at number 21.
I appreciate the props on that call out there, Roosevelt, but remember I've got a relief driver in at the moment, so Anthony's sitting in for me, doing a good job tonight.
Indeed, Aaron. I gotta remember to tell your substitute driver that Wobble Wobble. Anthony is a good driver. He's really an excellent road driver. I watch him on these ovals and watch how he just works his way up. He has a knack for just kind of picking his way through the line. What do you expect to see from him here as we get ready to go back to this restart?
Well, I think he's still a few laps down here, but I think if he can find a partner. I know the setup, and it's definitely drivable straight to the front. He could push somebody out there and work with him and help somebody run away with this thing, I think.
What about 27, 26 laps to go? You think he stands a chance to make up those 3 laps that he's down right now?
No, if there's a without any more cautions, there's definitely no way. But we'll see what happens here. Definitely can't rule anything out, obviously, as you know. But if there's no cautions, there's not going to be any need for any pit stops. So he can just put her to the floor and help somebody, maybe push somebody to the win at least.
Well, we just hope to see some really good racing out of him. It's unfortunate that he got to that mix-up early on, but we'll see what he can do. I'm not going to count him out yet. I've seen Anthony race. I've seen him do some things and pull some beats off. So, not going to count him out. We'll see what happens here. As we get ready to come in here to the trial, we're get ready to go green here. Pace car is coming right out of turn 4 as you guys get ready to bring the trial over. It's going to be interesting to see what John Houston and Brandon Otto, if they can work together and pair up. What James Barber and Matt Cook do on that outside to try to come in and take that lead. So let's check them out as we get ready to go green here. Pace car is in. You see them bunching up. We got green flag racing, guys, and here we go. So we see John Houston and Brendan kind of work together there. They already locked up and they're already pushing. And they got that inside line, so they're going to have that yellow down at the bottom. Definitely is a little bit faster coming in. So I think they're going to push in, and they definitely going to take the lead coming on the first lap there, Aaron.
Yeah, that's right. I see Max out there on the outside lane at Cook. He's definitely a good driver, too. He can get hooked up with somebody. I've seen him come up towards the front a little bit earlier in the race. I think I wouldn't count him out. If he can hook up with a good partner, he should be
and we just had a big, massive crash up front here as we watched the guys try to go 3 wide into that turn 3. Just didn't work. Really not a smart move to come in that early in the race and try to get in there. What a massive crash. Took out a lot of cars there.
Absolutely. That's a shame. Those guys can. Oh boy, that's a terrible, terrible accident. But that's a product, definitely a product of plate racing. That's for sure.
Absolutely, that's the thing that you see these guys, you hear them inside iRacing all the time talking about going three wide so early, it just causing a crash is really unnecessary. When you're looking at this replay here, what do you think, caused that, and was it necessary this early in the race?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it's definitely getting down towards the end of the race, but there's plenty of time left. Let's just get, that's one thing that I try to do when I race at these plate tracks a lot of times is I'll start in the back and just kind of let the melees happen and let things happen and, work my way up then. So I'm usually fast enough to get myself up there.
Well, looking at the replay, it looks like the number 29 car of Chris Jesse there was tied up and locked. Looks like he had a pretty decent run as I look at it, and just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to call it impatience, but kind of got in there and got mixed up and got tied in there.
Sure, it just kind of looked like there was definitely a hole there. And when they got that good run coming up through the middle, the hole just kind of closed up on them.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like the car, on that outside just kind of dropped down a bit and closed the hole up. Maybe didn't see him. It's really tough, when you're focused so much on, you see a gap and try to get in there and you can't really see out of your peripheral. It's really tough to see if you can hit a car out of it. Looking at the replay, he just 29 had a hole. He saw. Looks like, hey, part of racing is you try to take advantage of what's given to you. He tried to take advantage of it and just got mixed up.
Absolutely. Sometimes, if it was 2 to go or 1 to go, you definitely, try to make that hole work. But still with 20 laps to go, give or take here, you definitely take your time a little bit more is the discretion.
Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. I tell you, I think as we get down to these last 20, laps, and we get especially down lap 10, we're going to see some hard racing, I think. What do you think, buddy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's and that's one thing that kind of gets to be a little bit nerve-wracking. That's for sure. Is these last laps. As everybody drives like it's the last lap, you could have 15 to go and it could be the last lap.
I agree with you. As we keep our eyes on number 3 and number 27, the Caddick brothers, we see these guys, I talked to you about these guys earlier. They were back in 14th, 15th position, 16th, 17th position. They take advantage of a situation, kind of work themselves into it, be patient. Now we have Robert Caddick, number 3 and 5th, Doug Caddick, number 27 and 6. I expect those guys to make a move, Aaron. I expect those guys to try to jump to the front here.
Oh, absolutely. If you got a couple of guys out there that know each other, like we said earlier, that's your best friend out there, and they'll help you take you to the front.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I check in on number 36, Ben Fuller here, our very own Red Dog racer. Watch him pull to the pits, maybe get a little bit of top off and gas, get some fresh tires, fixing the little damage that he have here. He's in number 13th position right now. He's in a good spot, good position, pair up with somebody, maybe try to work his way to the front on these last few laps and see what he can do.
Guy just checked into the driving the 40 car. He's definitely got a little bit of damage out of that last accident, but he's got in the pits right now getting a little bit of that repair fix. So hopefully he can get it done and get back out there and salvage a little bit or a couple of more spots.
Well, I hope he can. I hope he can get out there and maybe make up a couple of laps, take advantage of some untimely cautions and just kind of work his way back to the front of the field.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about cautions at Talladega, Daytona, obviously, especially Indianapolis. You know, the caution laps take forever, and guys, don't like to see them, but they're just something that definitely happens at these bigger tracks like this. You just hate to see them, though, because they take forever to run the caution laps.
Oh, I agree. I think if you're in the lead, you're in the front, you're in a good pack, and you guys start pulling away from the rest of the pack, and the caution comes out, that kills you the most because now you give everybody a chance to close up on you, and you got right back into that whole crowd mix again.
Exactly. Yeah, you hate to see that when you got yourself a decent lead out there, and caution comes out, and you think to yourself, you just want to beat your head into the steering wheel.
Yeah, I know. So looking at this race right now, as we coming into coming right down the trials, is like what are we looking like as far as the lineup, Aaron?
Well, I'm not real sure on that, Rose. Well, it looks like my scoring monitor just went out. I'll have to have you run through that.
Let me take a look here. Looks like we got here we go. We got Brandon Odo, who's now in the elite position here at number 1, and then Brandon Chibirko is right behind him at number 2. We got Chris Kendall on that inside line at number 3. Robert Mansfield outside at number 4. Robert Caddick and Doug Caddick rounding up the top 5 and 6 again. So they're actually starting off side by side. Let's see who drops down or who moves up on that one. Number 7, we got Chris Jesse. Number 8, we got John Houston. 9, we got James Barber. We got Kevin Parsons rounding up the top 10. Number 11, Brian Viola. Number 12, our very own Benjamin Fuller. Michael Norris coming in at 13. Vincent Coppola is at number 14. And finding out number 15 is Ray Eddy. So, I think it's going to be interesting here as we get, lap 46. We're getting ready to go green here this next time by. Let's see who's going to pair up and work together. I'm really curious to see what Robert and Doug Caddick do. If they're going to kind of go up, go down, what's going to happen here. But I'm telling you, number 36, Benjamin Fuller, I think, is ready to make a move and kind of jump up to the front.
That's right. Just to elaborate a little bit on what you were saying about those brothers starting in opposite lines, or each different in a different line. Sometimes you have to take what's given to you. They definitely could get broken up, and then they're going to have to figure out how to work with the new partner. Sometimes you have to take what's given to you.
Yep, I absolutely agree. I think they'll, definitely, they seem to be very smart racers. They seem to race a really good race tonight, good clean race tonight. So it's going to be interesting to watch those two. As the race goes along and the race progresses, I'm starting to, kind of catch those guys a lot more in my vision. Let's see what they do here.
You bet. And as far as this being just an open hosted race by the Red Dogs tonight, this hasn't been a real bad race. I mean, we had quite a few green flag laps to start off the race, and for the most part, it's been a pretty clean race.
Outstanding clean race here. And as we go green again, we're looking at these guys come through, and Brandon Odo and Brandon Chibirko kind of pull out front here, and they're going to settle in up front here in that 1 and 2 spot as these guys move forward. Caddick brothers, again, they kind of settled in and got to a move. We'll see what happens with them.
As long as they hooked up again, they should be able to work their way right up through there and pull away, hopefully. Looks like Roosevelt definitely has a few people out there watching it. We'd take this second here to thank them for taking the time out to watch us through the night. And if you like what you see, stop back on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights and Sunday evenings and catch our Red Dog Racing races.
Absolutely. You can check the race out live at www.twitch.tv/RDLTV. You can check us out as we broadcast our races. We got a Sunday race at Pocono coming up, so definitely come out. Want to thank you guys for coming out watching.
You bet, man. qualifying starts at 9:30 Eastern, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Racing there shortly after, usually right around 10 minutes.
Outstanding. Looks like we got number 24 and number 38 of Chris Kendall and Brandon Odo. They work together and they have made a tremendous jump on the pack and really pulled out. You see these two guys up front here. You know, the rest of the pack is kind of still trying to jostle and find their way. These two guys are taking advantage of that as they make their switch here right now going into turn 3. Taking advantage of, oh, we got us a crash in the back here again. Looks like we got number 6, Brandon S. Long, kind of tied up with number 30 of Kevin Parsons. And let's see who can find out what happened there, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened, Roosevelt. Let's take a look at it. Oh boy, definitely seen the darker colored car. Couldn't catch the number on it, up on 2 wheels there.
Yeah, it looks like the car, the number 6 car, Brandon Parsons, somehow or another he got loose or he came up and he just, you know, just got down low and just took out car and just, oh, that's unfortunate. As we watch the replay here, you know, he was in a good groove. He gets up top. As they bump draft, and yeah, he was actually on the bumper of number 40, Wobble Yates there, and looks like as he was just pushing him into the corner, his car got loose. He dropped down a bit, trying to avoid the car below him, and just adjusted too much and got up to the wall. That's
that could be a product. That could have been a product of being just off center of that bumper just a little bit. It doesn't take much to hook them, to get those bumpers hooked just wrong and send either one of them spinning around.
Yeah, I agree. That's really unfortunate. But I tell you, you get into a race like that, you get into a groove, and you think you're good. The next thing you know, you just kind of lose it. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. You hate to see it. You guys, this has been a fairly long race. You hate to see it. You wish these, go ahead and go green so these guys can sort this out.
But we look at the number 30 car of Kevin Parsons as he comes to the pit here and try to get some of that damage repaired. Hopefully he can get that damage repaired and get back on the track. So let's keep our eyes on him and see what happened.
You bet, Roosevelt. That looked like he had quite a bit of damage. I imagine it's going to take him a few minutes to get that fixed. Looked like he definitely had some front end damage and left side damage. That's for sure.
Indeed, he did. Indeed, he did. Taking advantage of that, though, we look at number 36, Ben Fuller. He kind of works his way up to the 9th position, and our very own number 40. Anthony Wobble Yates has again advanced another position, so now he's working his way back up to 16th. Again, don't count this guy out. I think that he'll take advantage of a situation. I don't think it's too early to say that Wobble won't find himself up in the top 15, maybe top 13, maybe even top 10. Aaron.
Yeah, we can sure hope so. You'd sure would have thought that he would have been the lucky dog one of these last few cautions here, but I don't know, maybe he just keeps eluding him.
Indeed. We have ourselves a new leader as we get ready to come into this caution lap again. Chris Kendall, he's coming around and he takes the number 38 car, takes the lead here. Right behind him, number 24, Brandon Odo, is at number 2. So, these guys are going to be side to side on the start. But behind Chris Kendall is going to be the number 28 car of Brandon Trubirko, who, early on he had dropped back a little bit. Now we see him work his way to the front. Let's see what happens with Brandon here.
You bet. He could have dropped back. Maybe he was dropping back to pick up, his running mate that he'd been running with earlier in the race. I've definitely been done that myself.
Yeah, I hear you.
I know in a couple of races that you and I have been in together, I know we've worked with each other and you know, we were kind of lone ducks out there, and we got hooked up and definitely made a run up towards the front.
Absolutely, you know, and that's some of the key things that you guys work together. You drop back a little bit, maybe pick a car up, or have car pick you up. You know, and if you're a lap down, or if you're a few laps down, if you know you're out of contention, but you got a car that's on the lead lap that you can help, you'll drop back and pick them up and try to push it to the front, and just hope that next race, a few races down the road, he'll remember it and do the same thing for you.
No, absolutely. But then again, there are people out there that, and you hate to see that, but it definitely had this happen to me too, where you push somebody up to the front, and they, you drop back for them, you push them up to the front, and they leave you hanging out to dry. That you hate that when that happens.
Ah, yeah, that's the killer right there when you have that happen. But you hope that that's few and far in between, but unfortunately it happens a lot. And when you get to the heat of the battle, I think that's when it happens. So as we come around on this caution lap here, we only have 14 cars on the lead lap. And I say only, I really shouldn't say only. That's a lot of cars to be on the lead lap. And what that actually is that's a lot of cars that are going to be in contention to win the pot that's out there right now. There's a $10 purse on the line for the win of this race, and I think you're going to see with 53, 54 laps coming in, we're about to see some really hard racing, Aaron.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, definitely. You get down to 10, 15 laps to go, the gloves are going to come off, and you'll see guys sticking the car into holes that probably shouldn't be put into, but hopefully we can run green the rest of the way and have an exciting finish.
Hey, if I'm a betting man, I'll tell you, we're going to see some 3-wide, 4-wide racing here come up pretty soon. In your opinion, Aaron, what's the best line to take? Inside, outside, middle? What's the best line?
It just depends on it really depends. I mean, you want to kind of stay low, but yet at the same time, I know that I've made some pretty good moves on the outside with a good partner, and kind of just moved those lower 2 lines away. So it kind of all depends upon your partner, your setup, where you feel comfortable running.
All right, guys, like we're about to come down here for the restart here. We're going to see if we can get that gopher to stick his head out here and watch it as we get this thing get kicked off here. This is going to be really some interesting racing here with about 13 laps to go. Let's see what happens here on this restart. Here we go, boys. We're about to get into some racing.
You bet, Roosevelt. This should be definitely interesting last few laps, and like I said, guys are getting a little racy. They're getting frustrated. It's been a pretty long race, so we should see some fun.
Here we go, guys. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Aaron, I'm telling you, this is the part I love more than anything else about this track. When you get down to the last 10, 15 laps, this is where you see who has the guts to actually do it, who's going to stick it, and who's going to hold on to it. I really love this part. Oh, boy, we're about to get into it right now.
You bet. You get down to the last couple of laps, and if you're the one pushing, you're not even looking at your temp gauge. You're just giving her hell.
Pace car is into the pits right now, guys. Chris Kendall is on the pole, and we got Brandon Odo on top of him, and Brandon Chubirko's behind him. Let's see what happens here on this restart. I think that inside line is going to have the momentum here coming in. And here we go on that green start, guys. And look at the Gopher Camp coming up. Check them out as they get ready to come flying through here, guys. Unbelievable racing. Tight, packed racing.
Well, I sure hope that little Gopher didn't get run over. Be ashamed to see that.
I'm telling you. Hey, coming out of turn 1, we see Chris and Brendan just kind of work themselves up. and they got some fast cars here. Those guys are actually breaking away from the pack early on. I'm actually kind of surprised at how fast they are.
Well, you can definitely see there isn't really anybody hooked up behind them. It's, you know, those guys are running nose to tail, and you got everybody else kind of running without a partner, and that's definitely helping the front two guys.
Now, is that an early switch for those two guys, or yeah, it looks like it might be, but the pack that gave the pack a chance to close up on him here.
Yeah, it definitely you lose a lot of speed when you have to make your switches, and you definitely have to see like that. It looks like it's going to shake up those front two, and they're going to have to find a new partner.
Oh boy, we get some three-rod racing going on right here, right now, as we look at these guys up front. Oh, we got us a crash here. We got us a crash. Unfortunately, we got the number 28 and Chris Kendall. Aaron Hutchins, the number 40, is caught up in that mess again, too. Number 38, I'm sorry, Chris Kendall. And number 7 of James Barber got mixed up in that mess. That's unfortunate. Caution came out. Oh, here we go again. We're going to have to break it down. It's going to be real tricky again coming back in. Let's see if we can see what happened, man.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened. It looks like definitely out there running three wide on that outside line, and it looks like he might have got together with that Monster Energy car there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the number 49 car, Monster Energy car, got to him or not, but he definitely, into the turn there, lucky he got loose, went up to the wall here. If you look at the number 49 car, he's sitting there, he didn't touch him. He didn't touch the 38, but I think just that arrow push on the side there kind of got him loose and got him into the wall.
Yeah, it looks like there was just a little bit of left rear tire smoke on that car on the outside. It made it just touch just a little bit, and they definitely at these speeds doesn't take much to get these cars turned around.
I'm telling you, you're doing close to 200 miles an hour into a turn, bumper to bumper, three wide. It's amazing that you didn't have more cars than that come out to this crash. It's unfortunate that number 38 got mixed up in that. Hopefully he can get himself into the pit, get himself fixed and squared away. Keep himself up in contention, maybe get a top 10 finish. But we have other cars that took advantage of it and kind of jumped up to the front.
You bet. It'll definitely leave a couple of spots open for them. You hate to see that, but for people that are new to iRacing that might be watching this or will be watching the replay, you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, well, I could get out there and do that. Folks, it's definitely sure anybody can do it, but these cars do move around quite a bit. In that air, they're not the easiest things to control when you're doing 200, 205 miles an hour.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. The thing that I like about this game, and I actually really shouldn't call it a game, this simulator, is that it really, the physics of the cars are really simulated perfectly. You can feel the car get loose. You've got a good wheel. The way the balance of the cars are, the tire wear. So it's not really a matter of just getting out there, plugging it in, and turning it on and stomping on the pedal. You got to have finesse. You got to have technique. You got to have patience. And it's really amazing what some of these guys do. We see these guys here racing, on this track, and they're sitting in a chair, and they've been here now for well over an hour. They have to concentrate and focus on what they're doing to not wreck their fellow racers.
Absolutely. And the only thing I think that's different between this is obviously the sound. And some guys do have the triple screens, triple monitor setups to where they can, basically use the outside screens to look out either side of the car. But other than that, pretty much the only difference is the G-forces. I think iRacing really hit a home run with this last build, with the build that they just deployed a day or two ago. I believe it was yesterday. The tires definitely have a lot more grip in them with this build, and they do feel a lot more realistic, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was a really good new upgrade that they did with this last build, because I think they did improve the tire model. There's been some mixed complaints on the older tire models that they had, especially the previous one. As you look at the message boards and the forums on this tire model here that just came out, I think iRacing definitely made a positive step forward in what they did with this tire model.
Absolutely, Roosevelt. I know the previous one to me it felt a lot like it was on ice. You felt definitely, especially in these Cup car equivalent cars, the 8 car series, the Chevy Impalas, they definitely didn't have a lot of grip, and therefore the times were a little bit slower than last season and last build. But I think they got it right with this one.
Absolutely, Aaron. I think they did a great job with it. As we look at the standings so far and look at where we are, we see that our very own number 36, Benjamin Fuller, taking advantage of a situation, worked his way up into the number 2 spot. He's going to be starting on the outside line. He's going to have number 4, Michael Norris, behind him. Michael Norris has been a fast runner all day. I think, like I said before, Ben Fuller's going to go for the gusto here. We're going to commit to about maybe 4 laps left. We're going to see a shootout, guys. We're going to see a shootout.
Oh, that's for sure. But looking at the leaderboard there, we see number 29, Chris Jesse, back up there in 6th place. He ran a lot of laps up there towards the front, and he's kind of worked his way back up there now after getting shuffled back in the mid stages of the race. I'd be anxious to see what he's going to do.
It's definitely going to be a tight one as we come down here. We hope for a green finish here. We hope for a green finish. One of the things that drives me crazy, I know, in a race is to get down to the last few laps and have a yellow finish. I don't like it. I know a lot of races don't like it. We're going to come around this time, I hope, and think have 2 to go and maybe get a green flag finish here.
Absolutely, yeah. Nobody likes to finish under caution. That's for darn sure. It's always better if you can just race it out, but it sure gets pretty racy, pretty interesting those last couple of laps. That for sure.
Indeed, it does. Indeed, it does. As we check back with number 40, Anthony Yates here, I tell you, when you talk about tenacity, this guy is a textbook definition of it. After all that damage and all that carnage that the number 40 car went through, he's still hanging in there. And Anthony Wobble Wobble Yates is coming in 3 laps down still at number 16. So we got to commend him for just sticking it out.
You bet. He's definitely sticking it out, and I'll definitely have to put a little something in his extra in his race winnings check tonight for sticking this out.
Outstanding. We also see that we got number 38, Christian Kendall, back on the track. Although he took some damage there, he still managed to, come back in at number 11. Has an opportunity to get up there in the top 10 position. Unfortunately, Brandon Eslong he's out of the race.
Well, you hate to see that, Roosevelt. I know he was up there towards the front for most of the race. Looks like there's definitely still a little bit of damage there on that, I believe it's the 38 car. Looks like that rear spoiler's been up a little bit. That's definitely going to affect his handling in the draft, that's for sure.
You wonder if it's going to, have him drop back, or if you're going to have cars go around and what's going to happen at the back of the pack there. Here we go now. We are coming down. Lap 59. We're 2 by 2. Pace cars get ready to drop in. Oh boy, we're about to see some racing here come up. What can Ben Fuller do, number 36?
Yeah, definitely Ben should get him a good start on there on the outside. I think this could be one of the times where that outside really gets going.
Indeed, we got green flags here, and we see the number 28 car, Brandon Chirico, just jump out in front. Big gap there, but we watch Ben Fuller drop down there to the number 2 position on the inside yellow line. Now we're going to see what he can do coming up in. I think we're going to see him just kind of work his way front. This is where you see these guys hold that yellow line. He got behind him. He got a little tap here. Oh, we see him kind of push. They're going to hold that yellow line at the bottom there, guy. Aaron, I'm telling you right now, I think we're going to see some crazy racing going on here.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely don't want to try to leave that door open on the bottom lane, because somebody's going to stick their nose right into it.
Well, definitely the number 28 car, Brandon Chiberko, he is going to stay down on that yellow line and hug it. I guarantee you won't see him shift up too much there. He picks up a partner. Looks like he's picked up number 15. You know, picked up number 15 of Ray Addy. You know, Ray Addy has worked his way back up to the front again, and these two guys have hooked up, and they are starting to pull away, Aaron.
You bet. Definitely that 15 car looks like it's got no damage on it. Spoiler looks good. The front end looks good. They should be able to make up some time and check out.
Oh, they are definitely pulling away from the pack as we get to turn 3 here. When they get ready to come back around, these guys have really just settled in. They're going to work. You know, I think we're going to know the key thing is going to be this: who's going to give up the win? Which one is going to give it up and say, you know what, I'm going to push you to the win? Are they going to work together, or are they going to split off in the last lap? What's going to happen? That's going to be the key.
Well, I believe they're going to try to stay hooked up nose to tail as much as they possibly can until the last lap, and then definitely coming out of trioval, coming out of turn 4, all bets are off.
You see him pushing here. We see the number 29 of Chris Jesse here working his way up top there. Oh, we got us a race. We got us a race going on here. Number 29, Chris Jesse, takes the outside against the wall and passes him. He had a head of steam on him, man. He had a head of steam.
Oh, he definitely did. If you recall, I think I mentioned his name just for the green flag draft again. See, he definitely took my advice and subliminally, actually, and drove right up there.
This is going to be a race to the finish with lap 63 here with 2 to go. You know, you're really going to see some good racing here up front. You know, these guys, who has a fast car, who can stay in front. You see him switching right now, and he takes kind of a wide turn up top, going back down. He drops that back down to the yellow line again, maintains and holds it. So, you know, the number 39 car, John Hoston, the number 29 car of Chris Jesse, they maintain it. They're down at the bottom, but here they come on the outside again.
Yeah, those other two guys stayed hooked up, and when the front two guys had to make that switch, they definitely lose some momentum. You know, sometimes as much as 5 miles an hour. So it's definitely pretty much now what you got is what you got. You're not going to do any more switching. It's going to be a race to the line.
Race fans, we want to remind you again that the winner of this race gets $10 in our racing credit tonight. So there is money on the line for this race. So you're going to see some hard racing come down as we get down to the white flag as we come up here. You know, this is really exciting. Hey, we want to welcome you guys again to RDL TV. This is our first inaugural broadcast race where we have, you know, some iRacing credits on the line. These guys are really putting on a good show for us tonight. We want to thank them for it, definitely. But let's just sit back and see what's going to happen here as we get down into the white flag lap.
You bet, Rose. The white flag, anything's going to happen. We definitely don't want to see a caution here, but things are definitely going to get interesting, that's for sure.
And they settled on that backstretch there. We got cars that are lined up one by one. John Hoston, number 39, is in the front. Right behind him is number 29 of Chris Jesse, number 28 of Brandon Chiberko, and number 15 of Ray Eddy. You know, what's going to happen is we see a car spin. He loses it, but he maintains and hold it. Number 39 is going to hold it right there as he comes down to the trioval. Are we going to have a move here for the win? Oh, it's going to be a tight one as we come in. It's going to be a tight one as we come into the finish line here. And, oh, what a finish. What a finish that we just had there. Aaron, I'm trying to see who won it. I want to say John Hoston won it, but I can't really see it. What you got?
Yep, I believe it was John Hoston. taking the finish. Actually, it looked like he was crushing the finish sideways.
Indeed, he did. Number 39 car come across. That was some tight racing there. You could tell that they wanted it. Everybody wanted it. That was amazing. As we watch, indeed he did, Aaron. Number 39, John Hoston, comes in sideways across the start-finish line. Outstanding racing, gentlemen. Outstanding racing.
You bet, Roosevelt. If you're going to win, you might as well do it in style. That's for darn sure.
Hey, indeed. Hey, win, make it exciting, make it fun, make it a good race. Congratulations, John Hoston. Hey, rounding out our top 10 tonight, winning the races, we got John Hoston coming in at number 1, number 39. Right behind him, we got number 29, Chris Jesse comes in at number 2. Number 15, Ray Eddy comes in at number 3. Number 4, Doug Caddick, one half of the Caddick brother, comes in. Right behind him is Brandon Chaburko, who comes in at number 5. Number 31 comes in at number 6, Robert Mansfield. The Caddick brother, the other half, number 3, comes in at number 7. Brandon Odell, number 24, comes in at number 8. Number 38, Christian Kendall at number 9, and rounds out the top 10 is number 30, Kevin Parsons. Outstanding racing, Aaron. This is what it's about.
Absolutely. And number 11, we got Michael Norris. 12th, Benjamin Fuller. And rounding out number 13, we have Anthony Walver Yates. 14, Dennis Taylor, and 15, Vincent Copeland.
Hey, we said Anthony was going to work his way up and possibly get a top 15, work his way possibly to a top 10. I got to give Anthony some props there for sticking it out. I say you talk about tenacity. He has tenacity. He takes that number 40 car owned by our very own Aaron Hutchinson and pushes that thing up to number 13. Had he not got any damage, we might have seen him up in the top 10, possibly even the top 5. What do you think about that?
Oh, I definitely, if he could have stayed out of trouble for sure, he'd have been definitely up there competing for the win. I truly believe that. He's got all the ability in the world, and he could have gotten himself up there. I truly believe that.
Well, definitely, again, want to thank everybody for coming out and watching us here on RDL TV tonight. This was, again, our inaugural, Talledage run, Friday night run. Just a fun race for you guys, but definitely exciting racing in. We want to, again, thank you guys for coming out. We want to thank Laura for producing this and putting this up for us and setting this up. We want to thank Red Dog Airlines for hosting Red Dog Racing. If you guys are interested in checking us out on TV, don't forget Sunday, we go live with our league race at Pocono. That's going to be exciting. Check us out at www.twitch.tv/RDLTV. Come check us out. I'm Roosevelt Simmons. Aaron Hutchinson is standing here right here next for me. Thank you guys for coming out. We enjoyed it. Have a good night.